we go. And remind me what your IGN is, or if I've seen this IGN for you before.
Yeah, this is our second session. I'm Bresh. So I'm F6.
Got
I
it.
should be.
Yeah. No, this is. I've worked with you. It was just a thing of I'm not. Sorry, the names can be tough to track.
No, I understand. I see you in here with someone all the time.
Yep.
So.
Okay. There we go. Okay, so do I want to? Yeah, I want to. So let's go here, go like this. We hit our rewind. I don't necessarily mind that you're here to pull him back quick. I do mind that you're still on the ground. I mind that you're still on the ground.
Yeah, so that is going to be something that you are going to be angry about for this entire match because Wild calls me a ground Lucio, and I'm working on my wall riding and free for all, trying to get used to it.
So this can be a little bit of a pain to wall ride on, and you don't have great offensive angles from this wall ride. The trick is to go, hey, I'm going to wall ride back over to here to get up over here. Once you get up on this part, it's pretty easy to wall ride on. It's not great for aggressive shots, but it's pretty easy to wall ride on. This is kind of a pain. You've got the door, you've got this. I do understand it. Get yourself up here is really the code key there, or get yourself on statue because there's more you can do from statue. You have shots, you have access, but if your team is going to play back here, you'd play up here. Usually what you do decision-wise against this is you decide, hey, we're here before we figure out whether or not, our Orion maybe went for his fire strike, fine, and then he's going to pull back to here until we figure out, do they have a sniper that we need to worry about or not? And if they have that sniper, okay, fine, we'll play from here. And if they don't, your team is going to go forward and get control of statue because you would like to have control of statue because it gives you much better May walls and much better angles to punish them from. Like defensively, it is preferable to hold this. And if your team is doing that, well, don't mind if I do for holding this here. If your team is holding this, this is your wall to be playing off of.
Okay. Yeah, if you want to tell me as we're going which walls I should be playing on, because I'm not going to be playing on many walls.
Sure.
That's perfect. That's exactly what I need to know.
Sure. So you're using your amp here to back up your wall play, and I think we're probably a little slow on that, but let's take a look.
Yep, probably.
Yeah, this wall must have been up for... Let's just take a look, because you couldn't see when the wall went up.
Right. I probably should have heard it though.
Oh boy. Well, it should have been called. You shouldn't have to hear anything. Like, so there's problems with this, and the problems with this are team wide. So like, I'm gonna be harsher because I know this is a scrim environment, but it matters to you that this problem exists because like you can't follow up on this wall. You guys just hit this wall, and like, what are you supposed to do about the fact that this wall went up? We're going to use all of our resources. We're going to use our speed boost. We're going to run at this, and they're going to have this broken by the time you get here, and now you've just given away your wall advantage. Now, they don't have a May, so they won't punish you in that way, but like, this isn't the wall we wanted, and this is like, if we wanted this wall, we really didn't want this wall, but like, usually what we do is we'd be playing, if we think we're going to fight them here, which is apparently what we think we're doing since we're hitting this wall, we would have had our sides of statue so that we could actually follow up on this, right? Like, we would actually be in a position to follow up on this. This is so far away. I wouldn't even speed boost this if I was in your shoes because I'd be going, we're not pushing this. What are you talking about? But like, that is the called play. So since that is the called play, your job with those amps is to make sure that you don't give up advantages that you got, like your May wall, that you actually consolidate leads that you have, or to sort of stabilize and help make sure that, some play that they're trying to make doesn't go off. So you guys just made a play. So you do want to support this with your amp right as it's happening, and this is just too slow. Like you're still on.
I should mention in this trial, this scrim, our May is a tryout, and they don't play DPS in general.
Sure,
it's from the start. So that is one thing I just wanted to clear up before you go on.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm just gonna bash them mercilessly regardless. I'll bash everyone mercilessly.
I'm good with that.
But it's fine. It's fine. Okay. So here you are. And now you're looking at this, and you need to be thinking about, okay, what are you looking to do here? Like, you're Lucio, you got your speed boost, your contribution is done to this fight, right?
Oh, I gotta kill that lamp.
Okay, you could take out the lamp. I like that. Another thing you could do is you could go, hey, Hanzo, I don't want you in this fight. Leave.
That would have been a good one.
You could have been like, have a boop, leave. We're going to fight over here while you go, wait, what? I'm over here now? Because your whole team is running over here. That's a thing that you could do. You could also hop up here and go, hey, I would like to break the lamp and then have this angle. Or you could go, I think you guys are going to try to run from us. I think you guys are going to try to run from us in this direction. So let me wall ride hop onto here, hop over to here, hop over to here, and let me split you. As you guys try to leave, I'm going to boop. I'm going to be here, and I'm going to boop to stop a couple of you from leaving while you're all trying to rotate this way. Because I can see ahead, I can see into the future that I think you guys are probably going to try to rotate out this way. So that would be another thing that you're looking to do. You're going, hey, what are my main contributions to a fight? And your contributions to a fight are like, hey, I have some chip damage, check. I have my amp. Well, already used that, so we're done with that one. Next thing that I think of as my contribution to a fight is, what have I done with my boop? Well, the things that you could do with your boop are maybe remove this Hanzo or maybe stop their split. Or, at the very least, position yourself in a place where if your Rhine gets aggressed on too hard, you can at least boop to protect him. So again, that's mostly going to be up here on this wall where you can go boop if your Rhine gets pushed too hard. Okay.
So that statue is super important when we're fighting here.
It's
like
pretty
riding
big
on that statue. Yeah.
It's a pretty good one. Yep. Okay. So now, I can't tell if we're chasing them or not. I don't know. But it looks to me like Orion's just trying to stabilize, which is weird. Is he pushing? Is he stabilizing? What is the okay, the plan was to keep pushing? Fine. Then you can be on speed.
Yep.
Okay. And they retreated exactly how we expected, so we're a little disappointed that we didn't necessarily hit the boop to keep some of them in. But the other option is the call structure. Who's calling what you're doing right now? Because your diva can push the Hanzo on her own, like I get that. But this is are you calling the rotations? Is your Reinhardt calling the rotations? I only ask because you're playing Lucio, and sometimes Lucio has that role.
We're struggling with that. Judy's a new main tank.
Sure.
On our team, at least. I know he's a new main tank in general. So he's working on getting the confidence to make those calls and things like that. So it's kind of unfortunately, it's supposed to be his job, but we kind of do a bit of a community work on it, and while he's getting comfortable. So this is something I definitely could have called is like in, because like look back there, all our DPS and our
this is the thing.
They're just all the way back here.
3 of you were on the same page of what the play is, and the other 3 of you just aren't. So like this is a problem. Your diva is on the same page as you two. She understands, hey, my job is to keep the Hanzo out, and you guys will just win if I do, and that's fine. But this is just a comps thing, so no big deal. But it could turn the fight.
Yep. If I had gotten here earlier, I could have gotten that boot that I was trying for. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so now you're going, hey, I need to stabilize this, and you're trying to do it with health, and your Reinhardt is going, no, we can win this, thinking he has a team when he doesn't. This is unfortunate. Your amp is coming back up, which will be helpful. You're going to try and pull him out, I hope? No, he's going to keep going.
I would like to,
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. You have to deal with the realities of the situation. Okay, so now you have another amp, and you have to decide what to do with this amp. So we were here, and your amp, we're being very aware of when that came up. And by the time your amp comes up, your BAP is back and has healed your Reinhardt. So he's not in danger anymore, so it doesn't really matter what you do with this anymore. I'm, being a little cavalier about that. It still matters a bit, but the reality is not so much. Okay, fine. You're looking for staggers, so you're on speed, not too worried. And now, though, this is pretty poke phase. There's nothing to clean up. You should already be back on healing aura here, just because this is between fights. You're healing people back up between fights. You're in poke phase. Let's get on our heals. If you had a Zarya, not a Diva, you might be on speed, thinking, well, really, you'd be on heals until she was ready to leave, and then you go speed, but whatever. They're just doing that. Okay. I don't particularly like this. So what you're doing here is you're thinking, hey, I've got this. Maybe my Reinhardt's going to do this. Like, why don't you tell me the plan? I'll pretend I don't know the plan. Tell me the plan.
All right. So my plan here is if he misses the shatter, I speed him out. If he gets the shatter, I speed him in. Basically, assuming the Mei is going to get the wall as well. So we wanted to shatter Mei wall, get the Rhine. Theoretically, they all back out. That was my idea.
Okay. So. Okay, let's go with it. Cool.
I think they catch him here, and so we bail.
Okay. You not being on the wall here hurts me because it's not like it was hard. It's not like it's hard to be at this wall. This is 100% just a not thinking about it thing, not a inability to do it thing. Okay, and now this is an example of the type of thing that you potentially stabilize. You don't need speed anymore. You're out. So you swap over to heals, and if things look bad, you can pop amp here. It's not great to get your amp forced for this, but if that TNT looks like, the TNT, the other stuff, it's a little too much, you could go, no, I'm going to pop amp to, like, tell you guys that, no, you can't push us. We do have enough resources. Now, you don't have your amp anymore in that situation, but amp heal can sort of be used to recover from some of those, like, whoops, we got TNT'd and we didn't eat it type situations.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you're on defense. Okay, don't get Hanzo'd. We've talked about the wall that you should be on. I would like your team to... Well, this is fine. We'll deal. Okay. Okay. So
some of them are going to watch it, so feel free to flame them as well.
That's fine. I mean, like, we just need to decide where we're playing from. Like, if we're playing to bait these guys in, like, the reason we play this is to bait these guys in. We don't want really this to be effective. We want to make their pokers have to come into here, at which point we can run them over and punish them. If we're playing, like, out here, their Hanzo still works. So we don't really want to be playing here. We don't really want to be poking too much down here. But that's okay. This is happening.
So do you want to be holding closer to the hotel then to start with?
No, you can just be tucked back harder here. Like, your Rhine can be here. That's fine. But, like, your team then is more along these back lines until they actually accept that they're coming through here. And then what would actually happen is your McCree would then go, aha, and now I have this angle to chew you guys apart. Like, that's what would happen. But you just pull your front line back and your back line back with it until their back line rotates into here, where they're relevant and you can actually push forward and fight them. But that's okay. Not a big deal. Okay, so this is happening. And again, let's think through your Lucio kit. So let's just think through your kit and think about, well, what do I want to do in this fight? What are things that I can do? So you can do some damage from here. Sure, you can do some damage from here. Could you do better damage from up on top of this wall? Yeah, you probably could. Would your Reinhardt get more consistent, speed aura if you wanted to be giving it to him on this wall? Yeah. Would you have the ability to decide if your Reinhardt gets pressured too hard that you want to boop their Reinhardt out from this wall? Yeah, you would. Would you take chip damage that was meant for other people if you were up on this wall? No, you wouldn't. If you took damage here that you didn't like, would you going around here really cost your team much? Well, it would take aura away from your Reinhardt, but overall not a big cost. So again, this is pretty good for us in that it gives us the aura to the hero that we want to give it to, and it gives us the ability, if we're getting pushed too hard, to just from above pretty safely do a boop to even just break the regression for a second and a half, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Whereas where you are now, they're regressing, and I don't think you have a great way to break the regression.
Oh, this is my jam.
Okay, you're amping speed, and you're amping speed while they're shattered, so I'm good with it. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I should have gone left there.
I just don't like that you're I don't want you to get Hanzo'd is really what's going on here. Like, I'm looking at this and going, if you were a little higher, maybe, but like here, this is a very predictable spot. Like, this is normal height for anyone else. He's already going to be shooting here. Yeah. And then that Ash, you could potentially, nope, not quite. Okay, good. Okay, and you're swapping over to heals, which is good. We don't want to lose our Rhine. It's more important that we keep our Rhine up than that we get another stagger. And now back to heals.
I should go back to heals right when we get back.
Yeah, as soon as you're done rotating, because you don't want to fall behind on beats. Like, you don't want to fall behind on your beats. You do need to be getting some of your heals, and if people are taking damage, they don't need speed to move around right now. This is a poke phase. They're not about to get run down.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Clearly, you just don't know where the opponents are. Not sure why those barriers aren't justifying shots from you. Like, just put the spam into the barriers, it's fine. Okay, now you get cute. If you're confident in your Lucio, You quietly sit yourself right up here. This is where you can get cute when they go for this rotation. You didn't, and that like doesn't super bother me or anything, but this is the ability to reach for more when you're confident in your Lucio.
Yeah. So this would be called to go under when they rotate.
Okay.
So
They do have better poke than you, so you do need to make them drop to point because they will beat you. They have better poke and they have high ground. Like, they will just beat you, so this makes sense. And they don't have anyone who can contest point and then really leave, so bit of a stalemate. And here you go. And the amp here is okay because this is immediately going to be a play. You want to take advantage of the fact that they're dropping unevenly. It's just hard to avoid dropping unevenly, and you know your Maywall is going to come out immediately. So this should be fine. Well, that's not a great Maywall. But that's okay. You were leaning into the play that was, you know, the called play, the expected play, your standard neutral. So I'm not too worried. And now you need to decide, okay, well, we're in danger, but we have our lamp up, so potentially you're okay. And what are you going to do? Your answer could be, hey, I'm going to go use my boop over here. Your answer should be, I'm going to go up here. And like my aura is helping the whole time as I go up here to knock this Ash down, and then that Ash is free. That's what you're thinking. Speed.
Probably what I should be thinking, at least.
And you should already be thinking, wait, there's an ult. There's an ult on the enemy team that's coming in. I hear it. It is Dragon. Dragon is one of the things on the enemy team I swapped to speed for. Too slow.
Take it from the top.
Objective lost. Stop the payload.
Okay. Are you going to go see if there's someone you need to taxi? There is.
There is, but then Orion engaged, and I was like, uh-oh.
There's nothing you can do to help him, would be my honest answer. So you're going to go... Speed amp out. Yep. Closer to the walls. Good. No, all the way back. I don't care about your diva. She can get on her own. And you now have Orion that you still need to taxi, unfortunately.
Good.
Let's get you healed up.
Them pushing up here is not remotely threatening. It's not like the card is about to cap here or anything. So we would go get our Orion here usually.
Okay.
This is a tough one because I think your team is going to path wrong. They are. Oh boy. Okay, so your team is doing the low ground pathing, which is going to make this challenging. You know that there's threats up here, and there's, you know, meaningful threats up here, and you don't have the easiest way to get up there from here, right? Like, you look at this as like, wait, there's stuff up here and up here, and you don't have, like, this is kind of a pain to wall ride across to get up here, and also, like, you're gonna they're gonna shoot you.
Yeah.
And Diva can't handle all of it by herself. So really, and remember, the card is not like about to cap, like you guys had to go right here. So this team, as a group, needed to pass through here and have their Rhine shield in front of them as they're out here. And then your McCree just casually makes these guys leave because they don't have Rhine shields up here. Like, that's, you just go like that and go, okay, cool, we're doing that. Your McCree, your May, you as Lucio, your Bap, I'll just casually make them leave. And, you know, these guys will either they'll drop, and Hanzo might be able to climb back up, but they'll have to, you know, they can both get back up, but they'll have to drop. Ash can close the angle, and then as that happens, you could potentially speed boost your team across to go actually clear the Ash completely, or to go, okay, now that we're here, we can operate, and we leave our McCree on high ground and take the fight on low ground. So, not a big deal, but this is going to be a really hard fight for you guys to win. And there's not a ton that you can do about it, to be honest. Okay, I'm not actually going to lean towards speed boost here because I don't think your team is going to go through this wall or go through this window. So I don't mind if you amp here, though I wouldn't have amped yet, but your amp would have actually been, what do you think the plan is? Are you expecting a Maywall to come out or no?
Yeah, I mean, I was hoping to get a Maywall behind the Sig
Okay.
there, and then we could kind of deal with the Bob pretty easily if we just kill the Sig and then get out.
Okay.
I wasn't super worried about it since we could kill him quickly with a window.
So I'm not shocked that a Maywall didn't
Or
come
not the
out
Sig. I'm
here.
sorry. What's the Dank Moon? What's he?
The Rhine?
Dark Moon. Oh, the Rhine. Yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, yeah. I'm not
Thanks,
shocked that a Maywall didn't come out here for you guys to run at, though it would have been okay, because I kind of expected that they're gonna have to throw a Maywall here or here to stay in this. Like, this is just too scary, and the May was going to have to block one of these two high grounds out while you guys then tried to win with your window. And if that's the case, you probably aren't using amp yet, and if you are using amp, it's a heal amp because you're not running through your window. You'd like your Rhine to run through your window. That would be really cool if your Rhine would run through your window, but we can dream is kind of why is our what? Okay, whatever.
Nothing's gonna stop it.
And you could contribute a little more here to help keep their Rhine on the other side of the window with threatening your boops, etc., but it's minor.
I'm normally a bit more aggressive with my boops, but it felt like we were backing out.
Sure.
So I guess
Well,
in those cases, if
booping
we're backing
helps
out,
your
I
team
still
back
wanna
out.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Okay. Okay. So they're trying to aggress into you, it looks like. You can definitely beat here. You're choosing to Blizzard. Okay.
Ooh, you hear
Okay.
that?
You hit the amp speed to try and dodge the flux. Perfect. And then you walk to the middle of the flux. I'm not sure what's up with that, but hey.
Oh, let's break it. Damn!
Okay. So, couple things happen here. You're going for the Blizzard. Blizzard is a good reason for you to be on speed, for your team to follow it up. The opponent fluxing is also a good reason for you to be on speed. You're here, so I'm not sure why you're going. Like, that's never happening in the flux's epicenter. But popping amp for countering the flux is absolutely correct, and that's one of the places world tracking comes in. But this is fine. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you could tell me if so here's what I was thinking.
Sure.
There's been times where I've beated
Mhm.
and that bridge has
Mhm.
blocked the beat from hitting someone that got raised above it. So I was like, I'm just gonna get caught in it and beat that. So I actually went into it because I knew I had beat and I knew we could survive it, and I wanted to make sure that the people that also got caught in it were getting it. Now, is that too I don't want to say cute, aggressive, dumb? I mean, what do you think about that?
I don't hate it, but the reality of what you run into here is if we look at who actually got lifted, it's your tanks, and your tanks are going to be fine, and you have a Blizzard going that these guys are busy running from. So it's not like there's a ton of danger to your team right now. Like, if you sort of your May has extra health, your May has an ice block, your May has this is the sort of thing where it's like I'm less worried about that. Like, yeah, you could do that. I don't hate that. Yeah, I don't hate that. I probably wouldn't have justified it, but I don't hate that. That's not particularly bothering me. And your McCree, I don't even know why your McCree's in it, but whatever. That's fine. This happened. So yeah, I don't hate what you did here.
Oh, let's break it. Damn! Let you healed up.
No, you still want to be on speed. You guys
Would
are
you
all.
say that was an early beat for a flux?
Well, yes, but the real reason it's an early beat for your
Oh,
flux
let's break it. Damn!
is because of your synchronization. My real issue is this right here. So the real issue isn't even that we used beat. It's if we look at this. Okay. Is our solution that we're going to lamp this, or is our solution that we're going to beat this? Because we still have lamp, and we just used both. And your default expectation as Lucio is generally that your lamp is going to come out first as an answer to the team wipe stuff. Now, that doesn't mean that you actually get away with not using your beat. It very rarely means that. What it usually ends up meaning is, hey, I'm going to look at that and I'm going to sort of let that buy us an extra second, because we're not trying to fully stack both, but we're usually trying to go, hey, I'm going to get value from the lamp first. I'm going to accept that they're going to destroy the lamp pretty quickly. So I don't mind if they overlap a little bit, but I want the lamp to get its value first, and you have to be tracking your own BAP's lamp cooldown to know whether the lamp is going to come out. Okay?
Yep.
Cool.
So, with the changes to BAP, does that change your thinking at all? With the new change, or is it still the same?
Not really, because what you're still looking at is it's not a case of, oh, the difference in this case is now that they're at 10% health doesn't change anything. Them being at 10% health doesn't change anything, because when they're going to get eliminated isn't their health. You're still really trying to beat before the lamp gets destroyed. You're just trying to give the lamp sort of a second's leeway to actually do a little bit of work. You sort of get what I'm going, where it's I'd like to give this lamp a second, maybe 3 seconds, depending on how good my opponents are, to get some value before I beat. Or if we've decided that, we have a different strategy, we're just going to beat every time, well, okay, we better not be lamping these, when we have beat for them. And that's not usually the decision. Usually the decision is we're going to lamp first and then we'll beat if necessary, or we'll beat expecting it to be necessary a second, 2 seconds after we've used our lamp.
Okay.
Also, if your plan then was, hey, I'm in this, as soon as you're in the air, as soon as you're lifted up. So here we are. Totally fine. You've been lifted. Speed is no longer helping your team seriously. Now you need to be healing. Because, some of these heroes are going to get real benefit from you, including yourself, are going to get real benefit from a tick of healing here.
Yep.
Let's get you healed up.
Now that you're on the ground again, you could consider speeding, especially because your Rhine just shattered. So your crossfades are all wrong. Okay. Are you leaving now?
Yep.
Don't chase her. Don't chase her. Don't chase her!
I mean, I'm gonna leave.
Okay.
I was calling for help when it didn't come. I bailed.
Yeah,
So
but the point was never for you to get help dealing with this Ashe in the first place. The point was always, goodbye, Ashe. And she used her shift after you used her boop. She's removed herself from a fight. You're doing what a diva would do. You're not actually trying to eliminate her. You're going, okay, you're leaving, and now I'm back here, and now my team gets to win on this, while this person who was on this off angle from us has been checked for 2 seconds. Like, it's literally just say, I'm checking you for 2 seconds, and now she has to walk back up here before she contributes. And, if she walks back up here, by the time that happens, you'll be riding up here, shooting at the opponents. You'll be a second back from boop, and you'll just boop her back out again. Like, that's what you're looking to do here. You are not looking to actually take a duel with her. You're just going, I'm not going to let you contribute because you're an on and off angle, and that's entirely too dangerous to us.
So that's twice. It's that one and the Hanzo earlier that I could have gotten more value by correctly removing them from the fight.
Yeah, and it's not huge amounts of value. Like, it's not. They're going to come back pretty quick, and they'll get back in probably. If she hadn't shifted out, she'd definitely be back in faster than your boop cooldown would be back. But if you can be like, I'm only going to let you have 60% or 40% uptime contribution to this fight, well, her uptime while I am still getting to offer my aura to the fight the whole time, or, to some people the whole time, that's a great trade. And even if you're not getting to offer your aura to the fight at the same time, that's still a pretty good trade. Yeah, your Ryan would have probably appreciated you being back here. I don't know that he'd have used you being back here correctly, but you being back here going, hey, I have amp to help us stabilize. Like, I just sent that Ashe away, and now we're going to use an amp heal to try and stabilize this, because both of my tanks could use that. Would be cool. Or I'm going to help box out this opposing Lucio. That would be pretty cool. Yeah, like that. Okay. So, okay. I don't love that, obviously. Like, are we trying to use that as a self-destruct to exit? Are we trying to use that as a self-destruct for limbs that we're then pushing back iron off of? If we're using that to exit, great, let's speed and let's exit. If we're using that to enter, I don't agree, but we should still be on speed because we're using that as cover the same way we'd use beat to sort of like, we're using that self-destruct as to cover our escape, which whatever, or we're using that self-destruct really the same way we'd use a support ult offensively, which is a fine way to use self-destruct and a reasonable way to use a support ult. But if that's the case, we don't just stand here. We wouldn't just beat and stand here. We'd run in while we were beating. Well, we do the same thing with our self-destruct to take advantage of it. I think we're probably trying to use it as a self-destruct to cover our escape because this window scares us. But if that's the case, again, speed and leave. And that's just not the page that we're on right now.
I think he was trying to get his mech back so that he could leave, but I was waiting for them to move before I switched to speed, and I'm just like,
yeah, no, that's
I wasn't
correct.
sure what to do here.
If they're not leaving, you're correct to be on heels, but I'd shout at them to leave. Okay. And now you're just going to contest. Okay. That's too long on speed without enough value from it. So here you are, you do this. No one's looking at you. You need to be on heels to get it while you can. Sigma's looking at you, but I don't care. You hit your boop. Again, you'd like to be getting a little bit of heal value while you're moving around like this. Once they line up on you again better, you can swap to speed. That Ashe is going to start to aim on you, so now you'd swap back to speed because the Ashe and the BAP are paying more attention to you again.
Yep, okay.
Do you mind giving like a quick breakdown of like how and when to use like crossfade during like a fight?
Sure. So for crossfade, what we're primarily looking at, let me just mentally do this on first because it's a little more clear for us. When we're looking at our crossfade, what we're really thinking is I want to use crossfade speed I want us to be on speed if it's going to help my teammates get out or if it's going to help my teammates capitalize on a play. So when something happens, I want to be on speed. That something could be, hey, we just hit a Mei wall. That something could be shoot. My Rhine is trying to back up, so I want to be on speed. Like, they just did a good job, and I want to be on speed to get them out. I want to be on speed to get them in. Like, that's a thing. If our team wants to actively go do something, speed is very likely a good idea. If we're in a poke phase, we want to be on the heal aura. Now, the other thing that we run into is we'd like to use amped speed almost any time that our team uses an ult, not for every single ult, but for most ults. And for most of our opponent ults, we would like to use amp speed as well. But the problem is we can only use amp speed, we don't have infinite amp speed. So we have to use just speed in some of those situations, right? But like our default is basically if we're in the poke phase, if we're thinking, hey, I'm poking, our team is poking, that's clearly what they're doing. We're looking to be on heal aura to just sustain that. If our team is in a place where we're actually aggressing or we're actually retreating, I want to be in, we're actually trying to transition from a phase. So we're transitioning from poke to brawl. We're transitioning from brawl to a retreat, a pull away, something like that. We're backing away from an ultimate. Then you'd go, okay, I want to go ahead and be on speed. So it's like, for the actual poke phase, you're going to be on heals. For the actual engagement itself and for the disengagement, you're going to be on speed. And when the big events happen, like ults, you're potentially going to be on speed. But for the most of the rest of the fight, you're going to chill on heals. You can get more micro than that and be like, no, I'm specifically up over here giving my Reinhardt speed. Or you can go, hey, I'm giving a Reaper speed, or hey, I'm helping pull Azari out, but really pulling Azari out is really just disengagement. So there's instances, but that gets pretty darn micro where you're seeing specifically like while you're contributing to shooting at the team, while you're doing all this, you're watching, is my Reinhardt taking steps forward? I'm on speed. Is he taking steps back? I'm on speed. Is he actually, swinging? Maybe I'm on heals. Is he waiting 2 more seconds for a Zarya bubble? Maybe I'm on heals. Like you can do some amount of, we can get really deep on this in terms of what you're doing, but if you think of it at a general level of for poke, I'm on heals, and for the mid fight, when nothing particularly interesting is happening, I'm on heals. But for the actual transitioning from poke phase to engage, or from poke to disengage, or doing the big events, using the ults, doing the events like, hey, following up on a Mei wall, doing the events like, hey, we are, if we did this with a different comp, it would be like, hey, we all just hit our dive, we all just got our elimination, and now I'm using amp speed to pull us out to rotate back behind cover. Like, there's lots of different ways that we can think about this, but for most of our big events, we're thinking amp speed. For our phase changes, we're thinking amp speed. For ults on their side or ours, we're usually thinking speed amped or not, depending on what we have. But for the actual fight itself, we are trying to soak our general health value, and for the poke phase, we're soaking health value.
Mm.
But then again, it does get more micro based on exactly what your teammates are doing and based on what you personally need. You're going to be greedy. You're Lucio. There's going to be times where, hey, I'm dancing up here doing stuff. McCree hit me. I now do need to find some windows to get myself healing, even if my Reinhardt would like speed. Right? Or like, hey, my team would like heals right now because we're in the poke phase, but I'm under too much pressure. I took too much damage. I need to speed because I just got shot twice so that I'm harder to hit until I can break line of sight to swap back to heal. So you are going to get greedy with it too. It's not all determined by your speed. So I think that was a lot to digest, but I think I broke that down in mostly clumps that you can get.
Yeah.
I have a small question,
yeah.
if you don't mind.
By all means.
So when you see Lucius like constantly swapping between like speed and heals, is that a micro play or is that just a bad habit?
Sometimes it's a microplay. So what you'll see, but sometimes it's a bad habit. So what you'll see is, let's say that I am a Lucio and I am here and I am playing. This is a bad corner for it. Let's pretend that I'm a Lucio playing around this corner again. And I am doing my, hey, I would like to be on heals right now. Let's say I would like to be on speed right now because my Reinhardt is doing things, etc. Okay, that's cool. My Reinhardt's doing things. I'm now going to swap to speed for just a moment to hop off of this wall. So like I'm on heals, I'm on speed, it doesn't matter. Let's pretend that I am on speed, just to make this simple. I'm on speed right now because my Reinhardt is trying to do things. I might go, hey, I pop off this wall because I want to transition to here. And then in the air, you're going to see me swap to heals because I'm going to maintain my real momentum from having been on speed from when I was on this wall. When I popped off this wall, I wanted to be on speed. But now that I'm in the air, being on speed isn't doing me much good. So I'm going to swap back to heals as I'm floating through the air to get to here. And then I might swap right back to speed because I want to give it to my Reinhardt. But speed wasn't doing my movement any real good in the air. Like I was maintaining my inertia, whatever. So you're going to see things like that where it might look weird what Lucio's doing, but really he just knows well enough how his wall riding works that he's doing things like taking advantage of, well, speed isn't helping me in the air, so I'm going to heal. Okay, now I'm back on speed, heals, whatever I need to be over here. Or he's selfishly using his own crossfades to change his movement pattern, because it does change his speed when he's on the wall, to make it harder for someone to track him. Like he's actually taking shots, people are actually paying attention to him. So you're noticing he's spamming swaps, but that spamming swaps is really sometimes intentionally changing his speed because it's harder to track him. He actually has the ability to change that, unlike most heroes. Other times people are just spamming it.
See.
Okay.
Time to accelerate.
Did you actually get your whole team with this? Yeah, good enough.
Yeah, I don't usually worry about D.Va.
Yeah, you don't have to. It's fine. I am curious to see if you and D.Va are going to do any partner dives, because their comp is somewhat vulnerable to it.
No, we're not.
Okay, well,
We're
that's
doing
nice.
speed. Yeah, we're doing speed high noon here.
Okay. Yep, and you're on speed. This is fine. I'd still be cool with you leaving it, but okay, that's fine. You're gonna go with it.
I would have too if I'd seen it earlier. I gotta work on that.
But then when you're in the air, you're gonna swap to heals here. Yeah, okay, you do. And then you'd be right back on speed, even though this just happened because there's a dragon going on, and we don't like the dragon. And you'd actually be on heals right now because your BAP needs heals. And I don't think your Reinhardt needs this help with speed as much as your BAP needs the healing.
Okay. At what point do you normally say, screw whatever heals anyone needs, they've got a certain amount of people left and we can stagger them? At what point do you generally like? Would you? I mean, I don't know if that's a fair question.
No, it is a
but-
fair question, but it depends. Like up here, for example, remember back on first part, you guys had a low health Reinhardt and you were going aggressive for staggers, and I didn't particularly like that at least your Reinhardt was participating and you were keeping the team on speed rather than helping stabilize him, because your staggers are however many staggers that you get, if they get one on Reinhardt and you can't get any afterwards, it's over, right?
Yep.
So like
Yep.
that
Okay.
equation is different over here than it is back here on third, where it's like stagger them forever. Like that's
Okay.
that's a different equation. So at what point, you don't need to, like if your BAP is half health over here and you go, hey, I have teammates that I can help get this Lucio elimination. Yeah, that's totally fine. Go up there and do it, especially if your BAP isn't in any real danger. But this wasn't. I don't think we were there yet. I was in this case of, I'd have said at that moment, still better on your BAP. Okay.
Let's up the tempo.
Don't know what this is for. Yeah, this should still be heals. Now we could be thinking about speed. Because it was, hey, is their Reinhardt looking to swing into us? Is our Reinhardt looking to swing into them?
F it up.
I don't necessarily love this because I don't know what you're doing. Like, amp speed is correct because I'm sure you're doing something, but I don't know what that is. Like, you're popping this amp and maybe your comms make it really clear, but I don't know if you guys are backing up, just giving space for this window, if you're running through this window.
I was amping Ryan and Diva to push through the window
Okay.
here, take the
Okay.
space.
Okay.
That's generally the play. Is that like so?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the play when we window. Is that like? Do you have it? Is that good, or is there something better we could be doing?
Well, I mean, there's a couple answers. Why is this your positioning in the first place? Like, I'm looking at this and I'm sort of here. I'll be more fair. So here you are. I hate that shift just got used there, and that shift just got used there. Your BAP shift, I didn't actually see if it was at all necessary. It probably wasn't, but if it was, that's your fault for having been on speed. Did you see the BAP shift poof went off there?
Yep, I did.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Why has your Ryan surrendered this corner as hard as he has? I don't understand. Like, I legit don't understand. Why is your McCree with your team right now as opposed to thinking about late peeking this angle or having set up over here or even over here? Like, these are things that bother me. Your Diva I'll live with, but your Diva very well could be up here and contributing just fine from up here, and your BAP would have no trouble healing it. And why is your BAP not right here? Congratulations, you're now a low masters team. So but like that's the real positioning stuff that should have happened.
Yeah.
But like what we're talking about here is we look at this. Again, I would have liked your Ryan to be further forward. So we've set our window in front of our tanks. Now, why? If we're setting our window in front of our tanks, the reason to do this is because we want our Rhine to get a fire strike through this window, which is fine with me. If that's the case, one of the two of them, either your BAP or your Rhine, and I prefer your BAP, should be doing a consistent speed 3-2-1 count on this window so that you can actually time the fire strike to the window so that the fire window literally appears as the fire strike is passing through it, because that's what's potentially going to work. And this is a more powerful play because they don't have a diva, and spending shift is a bigger deal than spending defense matrix to eat the what do you call it, plus he can't cast it as wide. So this is a legit play, but if you're setting this window with your tanks behind it, it's because I expect to see a fire strike.
Yeah, we would like to have a fire strike here because they're behind it, but the tank isn't supposed to be behind it. He's supposed to be up there holding that corner.
Right.
We're trying to get him to work on unbinding his S key.
Got it. Yes. I wanted your tank right here the whole time. I'd have liked this window a touch further forward. Then it would have been a fire strike through the window, preferably before the Reinhardt is 100% in your face. And then your Rhine walks right through the window. You shouldn't have to use speed to get your Rhine through the window because, like, it should have been it's one step. You know what I'm saying? It should have been like literally the window spawned right in front of him as he's throwing a fire strike, and then he walks through it. And honestly, this window is late. Like, if we look at this,
Yeah, because their tanks can just walk
there.
right through it.
They're already in a place where if you window, you guys are too far back, but if you window, this is already expensive for them to rotate out of. Like, this is already expensive to the point of it will set them back significantly. You'll break Rhine Shield, you'll break Sigma Shield, you'll force shift, you might get an elimination, etc. Like, it's totally fine to window at this point. These guys are committed enough. Instead, they're all the way up here before our window goes off. And I know part of that, this is a team cohesion thing. Your tank isn't holding the space that you want to. They have more scary poke than you guys might be used to because they're running Ash, McCree, Sigma in their brawl. Like, I get it, but like, this window is late. This Rhine is positioned. Your whole team is positioned wrong. Oh, and by the way, since I didn't criticize you, you would look to be being up here. It's a little annoying because of the stuff, but this would be your default because, again, you get to give your aura to your Rhine. You get to give your aura to your Mei. You get to shoot them from above, which gives you a nice angle. You have the option to boop their Rhine out, or you have the option to round the corner and boop their Rhine in. This would be your default as Lucio.
So I want to kind of be above my Rhine, it sounds like.
That's
in a lot of cases.
common
Just
place.
Kind of hanging out above them.
Yes.
Okay.
Corners sort of above your Rhine are a pretty common place. Once you get better, like in Masters and such, you'll run into other Lucios there, and you'll spend a lot of time booping each other, and it'll be like, what are those two doing? This is silly. This is stupid. What are they doing? And it's like, no, there's a metagame to it, we promise. Now, the metagame's evolved in such a way that you'll also see now these days a lot of Lucio Diva dives. So you might be up here, and then you might go, I'm going to give up being up here because I'm actually going to wall ride somewhere else. I'm actually going to slide through here. I'm actually going to slide over here to go with my diva who's coming from this direction. So maybe my diva boost in here. I wall rode my way through here. And the two of us dive your BAP. Maybe to get the elimination. Maybe to just stifle your BAP so that he's under so much pressure that our front line melts your Reinhardt while the BAP is under pressure. And then we're going to get out type thing. I'm not necessarily expecting you to do that yet, but your first level is control the corner above your Rhine.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is, you're amping speed, but like your Rhine's not walking through, so you should just be amping heals. And the window, like I see it. There's a Mei wall. There's a lamp. Like I see it. You should push.
I want it so bad.
Okay. And now you have to make a decision. Do you want to boop this Rhine away if he pushes, or do you want to not? Because your Rhine's in danger. Okay, now it's an easy decision. Wall? You can use the wall? No. Help your Kree, fine. Ground Lucio.
Let's get patched up.
Excuse me? Excuse me? What? Oh my goodness. Okay. I can't help myself.
Do it.
BAP, Diva, Kree, Rhine Mei. If you guys want to push up further, that's okay with me too. But then you get control of this, and you put your Diva up here, you put your Mei over here, you potentially have your Rhine right here. Like this is okay, whatever. Okay, that's fine. We're back to this.
Yeah, let's move it, people. I have found the enemy. Come and face me. Step.
Okay. This is fine. I assume you just have to assume that the timing was right, and you immediately pop your speed amp to help him out here, to bring him in, and then they're going to Mei wall it, which is fine. Oh, they can't Mei wall it. That just makes this too easy. Sorry, I'm on the wrong hero. There we go. Now here's your speed amp. A little late, but we got it. Okay, and now you've hit your Mei wall. Works for me. Okay. An interesting place to be reloading.
This is gonna make you feel better.
Okay, they tried to shatter. No, you shattered. Okay, fine. Okay, so here we are. You shattered, but your Rhine is weak. But I don't really think you can save your Rhine with healing, so I'm pretty good with Hey Speed, because speed is way more likely to save your Rhine than healing. You also just hit Shatter and you're throwing Self-Destruct. Both of these are signs that you want to be on speed right now. Like, you have two ults that are both ults that you would want your team to be able to follow up on, that you would want your team to take advantage, and your Rhine's health is so low that healing isn't going to help him, speed might, so 3 reasons to be on speed. And they have a window. 4 reasons to be on speed right now. Instead, you're amping heals. Okay. He's trapped. You're going to go punch him. You should be on heals right now, because your aura isn't helping anyone, and you would like to get health back. Okay. Mm-hmm. Speed to get out, back to heals, because you need to stabilize yourself. You can be a little greedy with your aura. Okay. This is poke phase. Okay. So, we had a decision to make here. Our decision was we're just going to pop lamp. That's maybe a little unfortunate. We look at this, we do this. We potentially should have said, hey, let's also use amp speed and wall to get ourselves out, and then just sort of wait this out. Or we could have tried to answer with our own ult. We didn't. Oh, our wall just isn't good enough. I see the problem. Okay, that's a pretty not gonna work wall. Yeah, but amp heals isn't gonna help them, and you swap to speed. Good. That was not your plan.
That was not my plan. That was I was like, oh, I'll stay on land. I was like, oh no, let's wall right over there so I get out, and then I made the decision too late.
Yes.
That's funny. I hope that nobody saw that. Yeah, right. Thanks, Lucio.
Okay. Fine. Yeah, okay. I don't actually care about you being back here. In fact, I'd say get out of here. So, like, yes, this doubles the strength of your shots, but you already have your ult, and I don't want you up here messing up your BAPS shots, and I do want you up here offering aura, and I do want you up here offering different angles. So, like, right now, you're doubling the strength of your shots, but I'm okay with your shots instead being, let's make up a number, 30% stronger, because you're shooting from high ground where you get more headshots, and you're shooting from a different angle where their defenses aren't directed against you. Like, their defenses get to be directed against this window. They will use things like experimental barrier, Rhine shield. They will use things to protect against this direction, hard cover, the cart as cover, that then won't work against you up here, or you. No, really up here is where you'd be right now. You see what I'm saying? So, like, you get some by being here, maybe not quite as good as being over here, but it compromises some of their cover, and you're offering your aura to a group that really needs it more. These guys don't need your aura. They especially don't need your speed aura.
So in this situation, let's say I hop up there to the top, and we got the Bob down there, but he just popped in, right? He's new.
Yeah.
So I hop up there, and I'm hanging around on top. They're running McCree Ash. Is that, should I not be as worried because I'm so hard to hit when I'm wall riding? What are you thinking about that?
I'm not super worried about it, because I really don't think there's higher priorities for them to deal with. They're simply not going to be able to go, oh, let's go deal with Lucio wall riding up there. Like, if you shoot at them, they'll start shooting back at you, which is fine. You're totally fine with that, because they're not going to both start shooting at you, and you're not carrying a Discord orb, and you have your own auras to change it. Like, they can't, if they're paying attention to you, it's sort of like, really? Really? You're going to pay attention to me? Sweet. Hey, Cricey, you want to just, like, while this McCree pays attention to me, you just want to off-angle and tear him. It's like, they can't. The priority, you are not high enough on the priority list for them to be like, oh, yeah, we're going to do that. Unless you do something stupid, like get near a Mei who just goes, yeah, I'm going to frost you a little bit. But there's no Mei on the other team. Fine. And you have speed going. Good. And you're over here. Little worried. You could get flashed here.
Yep. I didn't know that if he had it or not, and I should have been more scared.
We assume he does have it.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Step right up.
Okay. And now we get to see a different hero.
Yep.
Ready.
Not that I don't love me some Lucio, but let's jump on through here.
For battle.
It's probably my least favorite hero to play, but I just got to get good at it.
Sure.
It's just my job. So
Sure.
I just got to get good.
Ready for battle.
So I think I eat some sleeps here, and I think I waste some nades.
Mhm.
I'm sure. So let's see that.
Okay. I think you get pinned by a Rhyme. No. Fine. You're gonna flick it. No.
Go.
Okay.
I keep you here.
Yeah, I was worried you were gonna do that, but I'll live. Okay.
Go. I keep you here.
Getting more micro than we probably need to. Here we are. Here we
So
are.
target selection is a big problem for me. So
Yes.
get micro.
Zarya is no longer in danger.
Hmm.
I can live with the first heal on Zarya because Zarya was in danger when you were thinking about it, and I know how, you have a delay, you're human, I get it, etc. The second shot is bothering me because Winston is in more danger and Tracer is in more danger. So like one shot on Zarya as Zarya was transitioning across here, Zarya was in real danger, Zarya was low health, etc. As soon as Zarya gets to here, Zarya is not the one who's in danger. It's your Winston or your Tracer. And, this shot should have been at your Winston, your Tracer is whatever, Tracer, figure it out. You'll be okay or you won't. But your Winston should have had this heal, not the second shot, not your Zarya. This third shot should definitely be at your Winston.
Yeah.
And that fourth shot, I don't know why you're shooting at a Rhine shield. We're reloading in line of sight of the enemy. Okay, cool.
Get back in.
Can
It's a
we
pro
not?
gamer move.
Can we not do this? Can we instead go, hey, I bet these guys really wouldn't like it if I threw a nade at them, since I happen to have this giant off angle on them that they're not punishing me for?
Mhm.
That would be great. Still had this great off angle. Not as good an off angle anymore because the Winston is drawing some attention over here. What? No!
Yeah,
There were
that's
so
one
many
of the
great-
really bad ones.
there were so
that might
many
be the most egregious.
Great nade opportunities before that one, and that was the one you want. Okay.
I've seen it. You're going to live.
That's a wall. It's a very sleepy statue, but it's, it's a wall. Ooh, unfortunate.
Yeah.
This is a case of you needed to hit a shot, but that's okay. And now we're back here. That's forced your reload with a shot into the Diva. Really, that needed to be on our Zarya, but our Zarya was at about 70 before you took the shot. It's fine. I would focus a little less on some of this, some of these offensive shots, some of this looking up. Like I see you've looked up a little for your Echo Mercy type stuff. You've looked at enemies, barriers, etc. a little more often. Expect that your Winston is going to take a stupid amount of damage. This comp kind of does.
Mhm.
Watching your back.
Fine.
Find them.
I believe.
Oh no.
Oh no! No! Okay, so
Bait.
here we are. You have a full clip. You do. You have a full clip. You have this. You're still at 148. You do not need to hit this yet. This should have been a shoot then nade. Like you
Yeah.
are not in your recoil of your shot. You can absolutely shoot then nade this,
Get
and
here.
if you shoot then
Yep.
nade then melee this, well, you don't even need to get that far. She's gone.
Kill confirmed.
Objective A captured.
Ooh,
Okay.
so this is gonna be a good one. What's gonna happen is I'm gonna come out. I'm gonna start taking this payload.
Oh yeah.
In this situation, how do you feel about who's on the payload right now? Am I the right person to be on the payload? Should I have the tracer back on the payload? I'm not super comfortable being on the payload right now, but like someone's got to touch it at some point.
Yeah, it's probably gotta be your tracer. I'm
Okay.
thinking about your options. It really does have to be your tracer. Your Winston and your Zarya both have to stay. They have to stay in tempo in order for anything to work for your Zarya. Your Winston would have to be in play for your tracer to meaningfully take space and for your Echo to meaningfully take some of the space. And you're not going to put your Mercy back here alone, so it's got to be you or tracer. And your Winston really can't do his thing without you. It's got to be tracer.
Okay.
It's just a scratch. You'll be fine.
Okay, but there's a nade, so it's going to be awesome. Okay, so you guys aren't doing anything for the next 12 seconds, so you can just leave.
I've seen worse. You're going to live.
Hard cover, hard cover. High ground, please. High ground, high ground. High ground, high ground, high ground, high ground, high... This is gonna suck.
Payload in transit.
Lifting off.
Hello there. Enemies detected.
Okay, so we're looking here. You have to decide, is this going to be a real engage? If this is a real engage where your DPS are in positions to follow up and actually potentially get an elimination off of this, you are going to nano your Winston. If this is a soft engage just to charge up ults to get your Zarya energy to do that jazz, you're going to hold your nano because you're going to want the nano for the real engage. You don't want to really be spending the nano on the soft engages that repeatedly happen in this comp. So you have to... you should know from the comm structure whether it's soft or real, as well as whether it converts to soft or real or not. And B, we should be looking at this and going, hey, is my backline, even if this were a comp game, you'd still be looking at this and going, are my DPS in positions where they can follow up? Is my Zarya valuable right now if we take a real fight? And to me, for the moment, the answer to both of those questions is no.
You're powered up. Get
So
in
when
there.
you say Zarya, is that because you were expecting me to nano Zarya?
No, it's because I expect your Zarya to have some contribution to the fight, and your zero
Gotcha, okay,
energy
all right.
Zarya is not going to have any contribution to this fight. Like,
Okay.
okay,
So
yes,
we
she
should have
has
stopped
grab.
or so what would you
So what you're
wait on the nano or start with a soft? Go ahead.
Yeah, so you'd start with a soft, and what you'd effectively do is you'd look at something like this, and you'd go, hey, we're going to hit a dive onto their front line with our Winston and our Zarya, and we're going to do this, and we're specifically going to take this angle away from them. We're going to do this, we're going to use both bubbles, we're going to do a standard double bubble engage, our Echo is going to come in through here, our Tracer is going to either use the engage to take space through here, or is going to have preset around the long way. But if our Tracer's with core, because this is a soft engage, we can use the soft engage to take space. Our Tracer can push through this core, make sure that this gets cleared if there's anyone here. It's just a Lucio, so that's easy, but it could have been more. And then, off of that, then our Winston can effectively kite back this way a little bit. That's fine. He can jump back if he needs to. But the point is he hit his engage. He didn't dive deep. He hit his engage on the front line. He got this Zarya bubble. Your backline is able to rotate forward to, like, cart, effectively, while this is happening. You don't really want to get closer than that. You're able to clear this, and he has hard cover that he gets to sort of kite behind after his bubbles are over. You can still heal him over here. And then on the next bubble cycle, that's when you're going, okay, now our Tracer has control of this flank. our Echo, has control of this, or our Echo has been able to get over here, whichever the case may be. Now and our Zarya has 40 energy. Now it's the real engage, and for this one, our Winston might do the same thing. He might dive the front line, or he might go deeper. It doesn't really matter to us because our whole back line is running in with him this time. Our DPS are going in hard this time, and he's getting the nano. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does.
Cool.
We just waited. Yeah, okay. Yep.
And this might still work because you have a nano Winston and you hit a fat nade, and that can still work. And it's not like it should be terribly hard for your tracer or your Echo to get in. Your tracer is going to be a little late. Like if we're honest, this is a little late to this, and this would be more of a during the first dive. You expect your DPS to be able to get better positioning for the follow-up dive. That doesn't mean they don't contribute to the first dive, but it means their contribution is generally less to the first dive. Okay.
Fire! Keep out of my way!
I'm not really convinced you needed to back off that hard, but okay. I think the cart was enough cover. I don't expect you guys to get pushed this hard.
Oh, it was the tire I was running away from.
Yeah. Okay. Keep your Zarya up at this point. Keep your Zarya up. You're going to win if you keep your Zarya up. You're also going to find a nade, and it's going to rock. Yeah, so here's the problem. We're now having to rotate back in. Fine. You can't afford to be doing these shots because you know where this fight is going to evolve to. This fight is not going to evolve to your team getting pushed. This fight is going to evolve to your team diving and you going, oh shoot, I can't contribute. You see what I'm saying? Like I can feel that in my bones right now because it's the posturing, everything, where they are in terms of their junk just went down. So you need to be rotating forward already, not scope shotting.
Okay. Yep, so there's my monkey.
Ooh, this makes it worse, but this was a mistake regardless. And your monkey just popped Primal. Did he have to pop Primal? This was a cleanup fight. That's a bit of a shame. It's not the end of the world that he popped Primal, but...
Right.
What? What?
Yeah, it's just... Yeah.
These are interesting reactions to a high noon. Your reactions are I'm going to shoot and miss a stationary target, and then I'm going to... No, the sleep is the first reaction. If you don't have sleep, sure, take a shot, but...
Right. Wait, what? Oh, it was just because I had thrown my nade. That's why it was showing the...
it locked you out of it because you...
Yeah. All right, I got you.
Thank you, Angela. You're going to live.
Try to keep your Zarya in your line of sight without your Winston. She's the one you're going to pump heals into. Obviously, offensive shots are fine, but you know that you get more value from your heal shots than your offensive in the general situations.
I'm on fire! Everyone follow me!
It's not there, so you take the offensive shots.
It's just a scratch. You'll be fine.
Offensive shot, or excuse me, you fine. I'll deal with it. Ha! But your Zarya! Oh well.
I will keep you.
Excuse me, it was your tracer. Okay.
I should probably focus on my tracers more because I generally expect them to get health packs. But you
don't need to focus on your tracers. You really don't need to focus on your tracers, but that doesn't mean you're not ever going to hit shots on them. Like they're pretty low on your priority list, but they exist. This has again happened. It was clear to me that you were winning this fight and you needed to rotate forward because you're actually stopping your team from pushing forward and staggering by being back here. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
Cool.
I gotcha.
Let's keep it moving. Watching your back.
Okay, so you have the nano, and your team has space, and your Zarya probably has energy. Yep, you get to go straight into a real engage from here. So you're absolutely looking to hit your nano and win.
Not anymore.
If You were really advanced. Well, I guess you are really advanced. I was going to say you might organize to give your Zarya a chance to bubble you while you take some spam so that she maintains some energy. But hey, you are advanced. Well, maybe? No. No, you're not. Well,
Barriers on
A
you.
little late, but
yeah.
the spirit was there.
Go. I keep you here.
Okay.
في الامتحان يكرم المرء أو يهان. You're powered up. Get in there.
Okay. So I think you probably know. Well, let's say you. Let's have you judge this. So here we are. We're here.
Mhm.
You're powered up.
Is this
Get in there.
should this be a real engage or a soft engage?
Now let's take a look at our alts. Oh yeah, we had called or not called. Yeah, we could totally grab. Well, let me see what they got. Oh, they got beat. That's right, and we knew they had beat. We probably could have grabbed pulse, but yeah, we're real engaging here. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah,
Why are we real
Yeah.
engaging? You're talking to me about ult status, and I'm fine with that from an ult status standpoint. That doesn't bother
well,
me.
so look where Echo is.
Yep.
Right above.
Yep.
With the Mercy pocket. I didn't see Tracer in the back, but you know, I was
Tracer's
lucky enough
there.
that Tracer
Yep.
is in the back in the right
Yep.
spot. And then Zarya, I don't know if she has energy,
She
but
does.
she can hit some shots from here for sure.
Yeah, this is totally fine energy level of energy. She's not going to run around with like 80, 90 energy all the time like she does
Right.
in Brawl. She's
Right.
going to have a little lower energy in this comp, so that's fine. You know, there's some things of, hey, maybe we didn't clear our corners first before we went in, and maybe Tyre's going to wipe 3 of us and turn this fight that we invest Grav into. But this is conceptually a good engage. I like it. And you go for the sleep. I love it. And you do this, and that's reasonable because they're playing Brawl and can't really punish you for it. And now their Junkrat is trying to bring back the fight, which he might be able to do because he did get your Mercy first, which is a problem. He got your Mercy, and your Echo still isn't aware of him. Interesting. Okay. It's okay, though. You're going to take him. Okay, so shot on the Echo next. Shot on the Echo next. Mm-mm. Okay.
Watching your back.
Mobility increase.
Enemy contact.
Okay.
Installing the payload.
It's not amazing.
أنا هاخد بالي منه.
Not a big deal if you don't get her, but there's nothing better to do. Reload.
Yeah.
Okay, so again, do you see the problem?
Yep.
Okay, reoccurring problem. Just want to make sure you see it.
Yeah, I'm trying. So this is taking cover like that every single time is new for me. I'm trying to work on it. So like timing is gonna come later. Right now, I'm trying to figure out how do I get myself in the right spot.
Yep, and the cover is
and
good.
Sometimes I'm getting it.
Yep,
Yeah.
the cover's good, but then it's you need to think about the next step becomes sort of, it's not just positioning anymore, it's mobile positioning. It's predicting where the fight is going to be in 2 seconds.
Mhm.
Okay, healing your Zarya is better than shooting at the Rhine Shield, but okay. Healing your Winston is also better than shooting at the Rhine Shield. Did you just reload with like... Oh yeah.
Probably.
Oh yeah.
Probably.
High value reload right there. High value reload.
I'm
You-
super ready for the fight now.
You could heal this one. You could heal this one. You could heal this one. No, I'm reloading.
Too much Call of Duty.
Payload is approaching its destination.
Your Winston is like, I would love to engage. Can you get me, Anna?
Heroes never
No,
die.
no, you cannot.
No.
Oh yeah, scrim code. Okay. Unfortunate that we don't get to see the end there, but I think we've got things for you to work on. Things for you to
Yeah, for
work
sure.
on your Ana. Biggest thing is going to be predicting where the fight is going to be, reading the adjustment to the fight. You play pretty far back, which is good for our granny sniper, especially against Brawl that has range limitations. But you need to be thinking about where's the fight going to evolve? How is my team going to push forward? Is my team going to get pushed back? What's good enough positioning? I might need to already be backing up depending on the flow of the fight, or I might need to be pushing forward because my team is winning it. I need to be more predictive of where the fight is going, and some of that is watching the feed. Some of that is remembering seeing the timing in the feed, knowing how many people are alive, how long it takes to get back from spawns, and some of that is just reading the flow of the battle, tracking the cooldowns that are coming out. Like, okay, well, we've used both of our Zarya bubbles, and we've used our focusing beam, and we've used, recall, etc., and we don't have any limbs, and they haven't used ice wall or lamp yet. Oh, they're probably going to be pushing us. I should be backing up. You get where it goes, where it's like versus, hey, they've used lamp already, and they've used they've used lamp already, and they've used ice wall already, and and their doomfist, because they have a doomfist now, because I've made up their comp, has used all slam and uppercut recently. My team's probably going to be pushing forward right now, and I need to be adjusting forward a bit. Okay, so that's going to be the big thing for Ana. For your Lucio, I think I gave you a lot. Obviously, get on the walls would be the generic advice that I could give you, but I hope what I've done is actually illustrate what you get by getting on the walls. You get to control this Reinhardt fight a little bit more, so that's more interesting. Like, hey, I get to go, hey, I'm booping this Reinhardt in. I'm booping this Reinhardt out if my Reinhardt's in trouble. Like, that's a little more interesting, and I've, I get to do those things. I get to go, hey, let me go try to knock you guys off that gun. Not here. That would have been too scary, but, hey, I'm using my boops to keep you out here, just to keep you out here, not to, actually try to fight you. I'm using my boop on first to knock you off the high ground. Those are things that you can do with your wall riding, with your boops. And then we talked a ton about crossfades, and I think I gave you reasonable categories for crossfades, where it's going to be healing aura in poke, healing aura while the fight itself is happening, unless you're boosting a specific event, like an ult usage, or a strong cooldown usage, like a Doomfist, slamming in, or a Mei wall going up, or something along those lines, or like maybe your Kree finishing, closing an angle, something like that. But heal aura most of the rest of the time there. And then you're looking for your amps to be used, to explode some of those events that we talked about. So I've given you a lot here. Do you have questions? Do either of you have questions about any of it, or about anything in general?
I think I asked a lot of them throughout. Otherwise, I would have forgotten them. So
That's a
if I have
good
forgotten
plan.
them, then I've forgotten them.
It's a good plan. That's a good plan, asking them throughout. I just wanted to be, was there anything on your mind here in the recap that you went, oh, wait, this jogged a question that we skipped right over, etc. But sounds like a no. Okay.
No, I mean, go ahead,
Go
Bob.
ahead. Sorry. Oh, okay. So I just have more of a comp-based question. Like when it comes to double bubble.
Sure.
So there's a lot of plays you'll see where people will run Echo Tracer or Ash Tracer or Echo Ash.
Yep.
Sometimes. Why and when do you want to do those rotations?
Sure. So your standard double bubble core, of course, you understand your tanks, obviously double bubble, that's what it's named after, so we'll leave those steady. Then you're going to have your Ana, because your Ana is pretty critical for how you do the double bubble, with the nano engages, with the healing that it gives Winston, etc. More often you would have the Brig, not the Mercy, for this setup, and you'd go, hey, that's what we're going to do, even if you're running an Echo. But running the Mercy isn't wild, so it's really the tanks, or it's really the DPS that have variability to them. And the variability we've mostly seen is our Tracer, our Echo, our Ash, our McCree, and our Sombra and Hanzo. I would say those are the most common variants that we see. Yes, those are sort of the 6. Would you agree, or would you say, hey, we're seeing a lot of something else?
No, pretty much that's it, yeah.
Okay, cool. So what we're looking at here is a couple things. Tracer is a good hero. Tracer is very rarely not a good hero. Tracer also works pretty well in comps that are kind of dive comps, and double bubble mostly is a dive comp. Sometimes let me rephrase that. Double bubble is mostly the evolution of floats, the evolution of sort of the the Winston Goats comps as it used to be, where you go, hey, we have a pretty heavy backline that'll sort of try to run you over with our Zarya, Brig, Anna, while our Winston engages on you. Like, that's sort of the thing, and then we've replaced our DPS. Well, what can fit well into that we're going to run you down style, while also being useful in some of the soft engages, right? Because we do the soft engages because our backline isn't close enough to run you down for the initial engages. Well, Tracer and Sombra are both good at that, right? They're heroes that can go in on some of those engages. Echo's another hero that can go in on some of those engages. And be there for the real engage. So that's one thing where it's like, hey, these flanker type heroes are going to have good value in it, so they sort of make sense for us. The other thing that we sort of see that contributes is, hey, we would like to cram as much ult value into this comp as possible. Because if you understand how this comp works, you understand that in most situations, or in a lot of situations, what it's looking to do is it is looking to win off of, hey, we talked about your soft engages versus your hard engages. Your hard engages either have to be off of our backline can contribute to this rush, which isn't always something you can do because you can't always just get your backline there, or it has to be a case of, sometimes or it has to be a case of, we can overwhelm you with ults. Grab is a pretty good ult to sort of put away. We'll call it a tier 1 ult for putting away fight wins. If we have Grab, we're pretty confident that we can win. If we have Rally, we're also pretty confident that we can win a team fight, right? Like when you go into a fight with those ults, you're pretty confident that you can win. Well, EMP is also on that list, right? Like EMP is really powerful. And if you can get a third ult that you're pretty confident you can win fights with, you can rotate between those 3 ults after you get going pretty indefinitely until the other team does something really special to break your rotation, right? So like Sombra starts looking really attractive. And then you get into sort of your weaker ults where you go, okay, well, Pulse Bomb is kind of garbage, but again, Tracer, so I mean, it's not at all garbage. That's not a fair thing to say. But it doesn't have the like team fight winning power consistently that these 3 ults that we talked about do. But an ult that's pretty close in value to them is Duplicate. Dragon Strike, not a great ult generally, but if we're going to be running Grav, we'll almost guarantee that we win our Grav fights, right? So we sort of understand all of these heroes. Bob gives us some much needed cart contest. Not amazing, some much needed cart contest. So like a lot of this consideration of which heroes to run is, well, how much ult power do we get? And some teams are deciding we want to run for the maximum ult power. So we're thinking about, do we want to get a Sombra or a Hanzo in here with something? The other thing that's leading to variations that you're seeing is they know they're playing against a brawl comp. And if you know you're playing against a brawl comp, you get less attracted to, say, the Tracer and the Sombra, if you're sure you're playing into a brawl comp, and you get more attracted to an Echo and an Ashe, or an Echo and a Hanzo. Because if you run the Echo and the Hanzo, that extra poke is actually going to be more helpful for you against the brawl, because the brawl is still kind of scary to mess with at close range. You're still mostly not counting on winning. You'll win during your Winston dive, during your run in there, but it'll be because of the softening up that your poke did. So you're in this situation where it's like, if we know we're up against brawl, we would like to get some combination of poke heroes, and we'd like to get a combination of poke heroes that have strong ults. Duplicate's a pretty strong ult, or strong ult combos, like Dragon Strike, or, we've talked about Bob there. On the flip side, if we're up against someone who's maximizing their flank value, their ult value, they might be running like the Sombra, for example, the McCree starts to look really attractive because the McCree goes, hey, you really just can't beat us. Like, you're going to have a really rough time if you're trying to play Tracer Sombra into our McCree Brig, right? Like, that's just going to be tough, especially if we're also running our own Tracer, for example. So, like, the McCree is sort of a little tech swap for, I'm fighting other double bubble comps. Maybe I'm even fighting a Echo Tracer, because McCree's also going to be pretty good into those. Where you go, McCree sort of exists because double bubble expects to be fighting itself. Doubling up on like Echo plus Hanzo or Ashe exists because you think you're running into brawl. Running the Sombra exists because you want to rotate your ults perfectly and just go, well, you have to do something crazy to beat us. And then the standard would be like a Tracer Echo or a Tracer Ashe because it's poke dive. So like, I know that was long-winded and complicated, but it's mostly a, what have you practiced, and they all have their place. They all have a justification.
That definitely makes sense. Yeah,
cool.
That definitely makes sense for sure.
Okay. That was a fun one. Anything else question-wise?
I mean, I'm good with the insights. I loved it.
Great.
I am done.
Yeah, I'm good. I got more stuff to work on. I'm still working on the stuff from last time, but I felt I made a little bit of a leap forward in some of my areas. Not the reloading yet. That's still something I really got to work on.
That 11 ammo reload wasn't it? No, go ahead.
Bro, I was so ready for that next fight.
Yeah, but your 3 people that were at half health might not have been.
But yeah, and then one of the nice things, I never got Dove here, so we didn't get to see that. But another thing was I was just heal botting last time, and you're like, take some offensive shots. So
you were taking more offensive shots.
Yeah, so if I'm doing that too much, I gotta find that balance.
Yeah, you do have to find that balance. There were definitely some windows where, hey, your Winston would really love some healing, or hey, your Zarya would really love some healing more than the offensive shots, but you're right. I remember, and it's like, this is a significant... I prefer this setup where you're over-tuned on offensive shots to your basically no offensive shots that you had before.
Right, right. I'm trying not to tunnel on one part of the fight. I think last time you talked about how I was just like healing one person and letting everyone else do whatever. So
that's less of a problem in this comp because this comp is designed a little more to go, Winston, I will keep you alive through, but yes.
So those big things I'm working on, and this is going to be a big help to kind of add on to that. So
great.
Yeah, big help. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. And I should have this uploaded tonight. If not, I'll have it uploaded tomorrow. So if you guys have teammates who want to watch this, it'll be up there, and I'll link it to you.
Okay, great.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thanks so much.
No problem.
All right,
Talk to you soon.
Have a good night.
Bye.